My name is Yujin. I'm the host of the show. Today we're going to be talking with Chang from Lance.
A good starting point is to understand the format. And I think there's a paper, I don't have the link handy, but there's a recent paper by like Andy Pavlov, Wes McKinney, and others that essentially evaluates the Parquet and ORC format on a variety of ML-based workloads. I would start there, and that as a like good baseline of like, okay, like the state of the art today, the standard is Parquet. How does that perform for ML? And you can sort of look at concrete numbers of like when I talk about like Parquet sucks for random access, Parquet sucks for large blob columns. Like, what do I mean? What does that look like? So we've replicated the benchmarks there, and typically, we especially for things like the sort of random takes that you do for vector search, we're like 100 times faster than the benchmarks that are produced in there. So that's sort of like a really great starting point, and it's not a super like deep it doesn't go into like super low level details. It's more of a survey and like presenting benchmarking. So I think that's probably the best place to start there.
Okay, cool. Chang, what is one tip that you would give all of the builders on multimodal AI?
Oh, that's a great question. What is my number one tip? uh if your use case requires like heavy tuning or customization, really pay attention to the data that you're feeding your model in post training or just like in fine tuning process. That's probably like by spending a little bit effort in selecting the right training examples, you can save a lot of GPU training costs while getting very, very good results. And so that's probably my biggest tip is like, whether you want to inject more personality into your AI, whether you want to have it be, have it recognize specific images, like, like uh, from everyday objects to like, sports cards or, PDFs. I think having the right like data set really matters. And I think like to really drill into that, one of the problems is around data collection. And especially with classical machine learning, that's always a huge problem around like collecting data and labeling data. Well, with AI, I think the like a really interesting phenomenon is that synthetic data becomes much more valuable and easier to obtain. So if you're doing like if you're managing a search application, for example, you can actually have you can start with the answers, and you can ask ChatGPT like, hey,
Oh yeah.
what are the likely queries that will result in this sort of like answer. And with maybe like $10 or $100 of synthetic data, you will be able to see like very significant improvements in performance that could probably rival or even beat like the leaderboard for a like generic model, whether it's like embeddings or LLMs.
Okay, wow. Okay, that's interesting. All right.